We should be.
What just happened? Twitter. What just happened?
They're trying to stop the signal.
We just went live.
We're live on Twitter, yeah.
Yeah, we just went live. That's what happened.
All right, good.
We're live.
All right, just want to make sure. What's up, freaks? Welcome back to Rabbit Hole Recap. Sorry, this is rude of me, putting the bottom of my boot up in the screen. Poor form on my end. I'll get the boots off the table. We got the boots on the ground here in Austin, Texas, and there in Nashville, Tennessee. How we doing this week, Matt?
I got that limited edition Unchained Capital swag.
Well, that's going to be museum worthy in the future. Very rare merch. The original Unchained logo.
Probably not that rare, actually, but felt like I should rock it. Congrats to the Unchained team on their big rebrand and Series B raise.
Big rebrand, big Series B. Family of RH in the family of RHR and TFTC for many years now. 1031 portfolio company, doing things the right way, being validated for taking a low time preference approach to building out a Bitcoin company, doing it the right way, leveraging Bitcoin's native multi-sig properties. Just happy for the guys down the hall.
There you go. I was going to say, Marty's like literally broadcasting in their office.
Yeah. So it's no longer Unchained Capital. It's just Unchained. I like this.
Yeah, I mean, the website's just Unchained for a while, right?
Yeah. This is their...
Do you remember how shitty the old website was? What was the domain? Was it Unchained-Capital?
Yes, Unchained-Capital.com.
Yeah.
Made
all the Bitcoin companies buying their actual domains, Unchained.com, River.com, Swan.com. Those things aren't cheap.
No. It's a sign of a maturation of the industry. We're getting financially equipped enough to buy our own domains. It's pretty beautiful.
Well, I got a bunch of domains if anyone's looking to buy.
Speaking of which, I was talking with somebody earlier today who has a domain. I will not say it on air. It's not public yet. It's a very good Bitcoin domain that I thought you would have been on top of, or Rodolfo.
What is it?
At least I can't say it on air.
Why can't you say it on air? It'll build demand for it.
The product hasn't launched yet. I don't know.
Oh, it's for the product.
Yes.
Yeah, most of my domains are shit, to be honest, and they're complete shit coins. I mean, they're centralized shit coins. I've never sold one. I probably should just stop renewing them.
Yeah, you're spending a lot of money on that.
Should just stack sats instead.
Stay humble.
Yeah. No, dude. Good advice.
Yeah.
Great advice.
We will get back to the Unchained raise and the rebrand and all that, but first...
Yeah, I kind of jumped the gun with my koozie. Look, I actually... Just to show how rare they are, I have two.
You have two.
It's hot. It's hot here in Nashville, so I brought my beers into the studio with individual koozies.
You got to keep the beer cold, and you do that by putting a layer between your hot hand and the cold beer. Pick up the rare Unchained koozie.
This is actually a dope beer. Yallerhammer.
Yallerhammer?
Look how cool the can is. I'm a sucker for good cans. It's from Wallen, Tennessee. It's a local pale ale.
Never thought you'd get duped by marketing.
Me and liquor stores and beer stores are just all straight. Like, I just buy whatever looks prettiest.
Oh, this looks cool.
Yeah. At least just to try it, right? You got to try it based on... You judge a book by its cover to try it in the liquor store.
Yeah. The Cayman Islands, their local beer, the K Brews. Very solid beer. The K Brews and the K Brew Lights. Drank a few of those last weekend.
That's one of my favorite things to do while traveling is try the local beer.
Yeah. Cheap. Very, very solid beer.
They're like all owned by Budweiser, though.
Oh, God. We're not allowed to support them anymore. Just kidding. You can support whoever you want, freaks. I'm not going to judge. Let's jump into Clark's dashboard. Some controversy this week with Clark's dashboard. We'll get to it. The price of Bitcoin is $28,400.
I missed that.
Oh, you missed it. We'll talk about it. Sats per dollar is 3,521. So one cuck buck will get you about 3,500 sats, a little bit more than that. Market cap of Bitcoin is currently 549.6 billion cuck bucks. We are at block height 786,277. And we had difficulty adjustment yesterday, an upwards adjustment, or in the middle of the night, it's probably earlier this morning, of 1.7%. And guess what, freaks? The mempool's cleared overnight. Let me check the exact block.
Everyone, quickly close your lightning channels while you can for cheap.
Don't do that, because I still have one more clear to win this bet. Block 786,215. The mempool's
well, you got to
cleared.
close them before PTLCs, right?
I don't know. Lalu's working on a scheme
I
that
have
would enable you to do it without having to close them. So,
well, I have 200 plus channels across my nodes. So
that's insane. That's a lot of channels.
Every time the mempool is clear, I close a handful of them.
Yeah. Did you clear any in the last 12 hours?
I closed a bunch before we went live.
Boss. Looking at mempool.space right now, there are currently 11 blocks worth of transactions in mempool. 2 sats per byte will go through within a day. But if you have a high priority transaction, 25 sats per byte is what you want to attach to that transaction. Back to Clark's dashboard. The next difficulty adjustment is in 1,979 blocks, estimated to be on May 4th. May the 4th be with you. We have a bunch of Bitcoin nerds and celebrating a difficulty adjustment and Star Wars nerds.
Yeah. What was our bet? Our bet was, I already owed you 100,000 sats. It was an additional 100,000 sats for 2 clears, right?
Yeah, we went double or nothing.
Yeah.
Or actually, I think the bet was 50,000 sats. And you
I don't think so. Really?
Freaks, roll the tapes. I don't know. I mean,
don't know.
I'm trying to be an honest man here.
I just want to say
I could be leaving 100,000 sats on the table.
Shout out to the dozens of people who tagged me and private messaged me about mempools clearing. Who needs alerts?
Yeah, it was beautiful. No, I woke up in the middle of the night with this cold. I had a bunch of freaks.
Also, Finch wants a shout out for being right about mempools clearing as well, but I told him he could fuck off.
Don't you have a side bet with him too?
I already lost the bet to him. And it was ironic, actually, because I originally paid him with 1 sat per byte, and then I bumped the fee for him because it didn't clear. It actually got dropped from mempools, and then I had to send another one.
RBF?
But I didn't double or nothing with him. We couldn't agree to terms.
Okay. All right. Well,
I only double or nothing with you.
And it's April 20th. It's 420, dude. A lot of time between now and the end of the year.
BTC pins, you're claiming I closed your lightning channel. I didn't. LND just closes lightning channels.
They do? For what, inactivity?
Yeah, no, it's just like bug in LND. It just, because I have channels open between my nodes. And so I control both ends of the channel, and they just close randomly. They just decide, and always in a high fee environment. Like I didn't close your channel, BTC pins, because I'm sure it was a high fee was paid for it. But also, I would never do that to you. Just close productive channels like that.
BTC pins, we love you. I'll never confuse you with crypto cloaks.
Dude, it is infuriating when you have a channel between 2 nodes you manage, and it gets closed in a high fee environment without you doing anything. It is absolutely infuriating.
Just burnt sats. As a miner, I thank you for your contribution to my revenue. Your unwanted contribution. Next difficulty adjustment, May 4th. Again, can't take this estimated difficulty change seriously, considering we're only 38 blocks into this difficulty epoch. But as of right now, it's looking like a negative 22.8% adjustment. Blocks been coming in at 13 minutes and 20 seconds on average since the adjustment earlier today. There are currently 21,880 transactions in Clark's mempool. And here's where the controversy of the dashboard comes in. It's with Samurai, Whirlpool unspent capacity. Clark's dashboard is telling us that there's 7,081.03 BTC in unspent capacity, or $201 million in unspent value in Whirlpool. But Clark came out earlier this week on Twitter and Nostr saying that there may be an under-calculation of this overall unspent capacity. Might be closer to 7,800 Bitcoin in unspent capacity. Almost 10% off. More than 10% off.
So what is he gonna fix that, or?
I don't know. Let me go find a thread on Twitter. Clark Moody.
Well, either way, it's a high number.
Yeah, but it could be 10% off. Clark, what the hell's going on, dude? What kind of operation are you running over there at the dashboard?
He's running a pretty squeaky clean operation over at the dashboard, I would say. Look at all the different numbers he has up there. They're mostly correct.
Are they, though? Can we trust anything on this dashboard anymore? We've been spreading misinformation to the freaks.
By the way, freaks, if you like Clark Moody's dashboard, go to the donate page, which is a very pretty donate page, one of the prettiest donate pages in the space, and send him some sats. Support him. He just loses money running the dashboard, and probably a bunch of headaches in terms of keeping it up and having high uptime.
Yeah, if you freaks can't tell him the inflection of my voice, I'm being facetious. Clark's dashboard is an incredible tool that Clark just gives to the community. It does take donations. But as you can see here, he tweeted out, this was like 2 weeks ago, getting word that I'm potentially underreporting total whirlpool capacity on the dashboard, which means the numbers could be even higher. And Samurai responded to that, yep, I think you might be right. We took a stab at parsing the blockchain ourselves to get these numbers. We'll get the code open source and published next week so everyone can double check our work, and their work is showing where it was on the 9th. 7,727.98.
That's great.
Yeah. Shout out to both teams. And since we're talking about this, we brought up Samurai, I guess we got Flame Wars. I'm done with the Flame Wars. I'm not getting in the middle of them. Stop tagging me in the Flame Wars, please.
There's just a lot of people acting in bad faith.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to talk about it, to be honest.
I know, but I felt like since we're spending so much time on it, should bring it up.
I just get shat on from every side all the time, always, which means I'm probably doing something right, I think. Try and be as transparent with you freaks as possible. I've been told I do not disclose that 1031 is an investor in Samurai. We are investors in Samurai Wallet.
And we have disclosed that.
We have disclosed it many times. You can go to 1031.vc to see the full list of our portfolio, some of the best Bitcoin companies in the space. But yeah, I don't know. I get chat on all the time. I will just say, first of all, it's important that people realize that Wasabi is using a chain analysis firm and paying them funds, feeding the beast. If you listen to Citadel Dispatch 100, the most recent episode of Citadel Dispatch, bogus chain surveillance probability analysis is being used currently against Roman, and he's being accused of running Bitcoin Fog when he claims he has not run Bitcoin Fog, and it seems like the evidence points to him not running it, which was a custodial mixer. Obviously, pretty much every regulated business in this space, all the exchanges that most people love, also pay chain surveillance firms. But it's a shame to see a privacy project do that as well. I will say any freaks who were listening to this show know that I was probably the most outspoken proponent for Wasabi Wallet in the early days.
We had Wasabi Wednesdays on this show.
We had Wasabi Wednesdays. I was a prolific Wasabi shill, one might say. And I had many issues and feedback that I went to the Wasabi team with, which they mostly claimed was bullshit and gaslit me, and then proceeded to do a complete rewrite of their code that fixed a lot of the issues I had without ever acknowledging that those issues ever existed in the first place. And we covered at length that BTC Pay Server now allows people to run their own Wasabi coordinator. So there can be competing Wasabi coordinators that don't censor transactions and pay chain surveillance firms, which would be great to see someone launch a competing coordinator that doesn't do those things. And I think we've been very clear that Samurai Wallet, used in its default configuration, shares XPubs with Samurai Server. If you don't use your own node, you're using someone else's node. And in this case, it's Samurai's node. So you do not have privacy from Samurai in that situation. So you should use your own node with Samurai Wallet. Obviously, if you use Sparrow Wallet, you don't use Samurai's node. You actually use whitelisted Electrum servers, even though you are using the same Whirlpool coordinator. Hopefully more wallets will start supporting Whirlpool. I'm under the impression, well, I know that more wallets are about to support Whirlpool, which should reduce the risk of unmixing or demixing or whatever probability analysis happening because of those XPubs that Samurai Wallet has. What else, Marty? Since you fucking brought it up, do you have anything to say?
Trezor and Wasabi announced a partnership this week where you can Coinjoin right from your Trezor using Wasabi's.
And you keep it plugged in? I don't know. I didn't really look into it that much.
Yeah. I don't know. I would echo what Steve Barber said. Disclaimer: obviously, investor in Samurai. I use Samurai. Love Samurai. Used Wasabi for quite a time. Like we mentioned, we recommended on the show, but the combination of the in the early days, what was it? The trend, the change was doxed pretty easily. What? No, the coordinator
Wasabi?
fee. Coordinator fee.
It's a fixed address.
Yeah, the coordinator fee, fixed address.
We highlighted first, I think.
Yeah.
We got gaslit on that, and then it was changed.
Yeah.
But I had no power on dispatch, which I thought was a very fair dispatch. Where I talked about some of the broken. Oh, that's another thing that I wanted to talk about. The centralized coordinator model. And Samurai is pretty explicit about this. By the way, Twitter brings out the worst in everybody. The incentives of Twitter are set up so that if you act in bad faith, if you drag someone, there's people that drag me all the time and have me blocked on Twitter. And they pretend why isn't Matt engaging and responding to these criticisms? But meanwhile, I'm blocked, so I can't fucking respond. By the way, when we move to a Nostr standard, you're not going to be able to fucking block me. So everyone's going to have to live and die by the Odell rule of no blocks. So Samurai, the similarity between Samurai and Wasabi is that they both use a centralized coordinator model, a blinded coordinator that coordinates the collaborative transactions. Okay, those collaborative transactions are obviously self-custody. They're not taking custody. It's multiple people sending a transaction at the same time, with the idea that if they do that, it helps break the probability analysis that surveillance firms use to track these transactions. Now, those coordinators charge a Coinjoin fee, and that Coinjoin fee does two things. It pays for development. They obviously make money off of it, but it also provides Sybil resistance. Sybil resistance is this idea that, and I have a huge thread from this 3 years ago, which I got gaslit on, but whatever. It's just not worth talking about on Twitter really that much. That Sybil fee, provides Sybil resistance. The idea of Sybil resistance is if a Sybil attack is when an attacker floods rounds with their own Bitcoin, right? So pretend I'm a surveillance firm or I'm the NSA or whatever. I put as much Bitcoin as possible into Coinjoin rounds, and then from process of elimination, I try and track everyone else's transactions because I'm a large portion of them. The Coinjoin fee used in the coordinator model makes that more difficult because an attacker has to pay more and more Bitcoin that they're losing, right? That is paid out to the coordinator over time. Now, the way Samurai has it set up is really interesting because you actually pay less of a fee the more Bitcoin you put in. And if you put in the Bitcoin at the same time, it can't be included in it. So it's set up in a way that an honest user has a lower fee than someone who's trying to attack and flood rounds, which is a very nice Sybil model. If you listen to my dispatch with Nopara and OpenOms, I intentionally brought OpenOms on because he's a joint market proponent. I thought it was very fair. He said the Coinjoin fee is not there for Sybil resistance, which makes no sense. It's literally there for Sybil resistance. That's the whole point. But I kind of am getting distracted here. My point here is it does not provide Sybil resistance against the coordinator. So if you have a centralized coordinator model,
oh no,
direct incentive. I'll keep going, Marty. You can walk off camera. Marty just snotted on camera during this very important conversation that he fucking brought up once again. If you have a centralized coordinator model, it does not provide Sybil resistance against whoever is running the coordinator because they're paying the Coinjoin fee to themselves. It doesn't cost them money to flood rounds. It doesn't cost them money to inflate the stats. So this is an important thing to keep in mind. Join Market is the only Coinjoin implementation that does not have a centralized coordinator. It has a maker-taker model between only two parties, but the taker is the coordinator in the transaction. The taker is the one who constructs the transaction that is signed. So keep all this in mind. Obviously, a centralized coordinator has... So centralized coordinator does not have Sybil resistance against the centralized coordinator. And it doesn't have censorship resistance because it's run by a centralized entity, right? That centralized entity can choose, like Wasabi is choosing, to blacklist certain transactions before they go into a transaction. And they can also... Marty's just like fucking snotting all over the place over here.
I can't stop laughing. I'm sorry, freaks. That was disgusting.
This is an important conversation. But anyway, on the Join Market news, I've led a bounty for the Join Market web UI, and we're about to pay that bounty out. So make Join Market easier to use for people.
Oh, shit.
That bounty will soon be paid out. And I will say that if you... I'm trying to just keep my composure here. Marty's just fucking losing it. I will just say that I'm not going to say the do your own research shit because it just feels like a fucking cop-out, but do your own research. No. Anyone who is trying to use Bitcoin more privately is a win in my book. Okay? People don't like that certain people don't like that I talk about Fediment. Different people don't like that I talk about Samurai. There's all this different shit. People don't like that I talk about no KYC while like 1031 requires accredited investors. I don't fucking give a shit. Be aware of the risks. Using Bitcoin in a naive way can be tracked. It has been tracked. Chain surveillance firms use bullshit probability analysis that can implicate any Bitcoiner. And Bitcoiners that want to seek out ways to use Bitcoin more privately are doing it the right way in my book. And Bitcoiners that want to talk in a reasonable way about the different trade-offs and the risks inherent in using Bitcoin in a naive fashion from a privacy perspective are few and far between, and we need more people talking about this stuff. We need more, like, if you think I'm not talking about it appropriately, talk about it louder than me and more often than me. When I first started talking about Bitcoin privacy and using Bitcoin in a private way, I was hoping that influencers were going to copy what I was talking about and try and emulate it and talk about it more so I could just stop fucking talking about it. I don't like talking about it. No one likes talking about privacy publicly. We need more people talking about it publicly. And if you don't like how I talk about it, that's your prerogative. That is fine. But if you're going to personally attack me, if you're going to drag me, if you're going to act in bad faith, you can go fuck yourself. And I am paying attention, and I will not forget it personally.
I completely agree. Thank you for speaking up about it. My composure is brought back, but no, I completely agree. It's number one, it's not it's not a fun thing to talk about. It's a bit unnerving putting yourself out there to talk about these. Stuff is highly technical. Number two, now you're losing your composure. Come on.
Well, now I'm reading the comments.
That was
Johnny Midas thinks he's charted at the same time.
Thank you for the freak who said bless you. There was only one of them, so appreciate you. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, and that's, pull up the Steve Barber tweet. I think this is, I mean, I'm comfortable using Samurai, and I will admit I only use Whirlpool because I run my own node. connected to my own whirlpool, and that gives me more comfort. I do not feel comfortable, even though I trust the Samurai team, don't trust Verify by running your own whirlpool instance. But I do think Steve makes a good point here. Let's note that Steve spelled Samurai wrong like 4 times, but
well, it's because the iPhone autocorrect switches it to that fucking spelling.
Yeah. So like people I respect love Wasabi, people I respect hate Wasabi, people I respect love Samurai, people I respect hate Samurai. Samurai Wasabi hate or live and die with each other. I can't read it from this far. I don't have
hate and diss. It says hate and diss each other.
Hate and diss each other. It just turns everybody off from the whole flame war.
But that's not what he said. He said, "I have no clue what to believe." You're gonna like partially read his tweet and then just add.
Yeah, I still have tears in my eyes. I can't really. But yeah, no, I agree. It does. Just like it all, I think it turns people away from using these tools altogether. The way the discussion is. But with that being said, too, I mean, the stakes are extremely high, so I can understand why the conversations get as heated as they do. That's why I'm thankful for you. For being level-headed, not only in this show, but at Citadel Dispatch, creating a better forum to have these types of conversations.
I will say the crux of the argument, really, what it really comes down to on the anti-samurai side, right, is that should a privacy wallet be perfect, right? Are trade-offs to be made? And when I think about Samurai from a default point of view, right, let's say you're using Samurai without a node, right? You're using Samurai without a node. You're sharing your XPub with them. You're sharing your addresses with them. If you don't enable Tor, which is built in, and you can choose not to enable Tor, it gives you like the drop down in the beginning if you want Tor enabled or not. You should at least have Tor enabled. But if you don't enable Tor, you share your IP address with them. And the result is you have no privacy whatsoever from Samurai. And also if Samurai's node gets compromised, if their server gets compromised, then whoever compromises it can see your transactions. You are in the same exact situation as the overwhelming majority of Bitcoin users in every other mobile wallet. Now, some mobile wallets do different methods. They use Electrum servers. They're sending individual addresses. They're not sending the entire XPub, but they're getting your IP address. All the Lightning wallets, when you use Wallet of Satoshi, not only are you giving them your IP address and your transaction history, but you're also giving them control of your funds. They can literally rug pull you at risk. So there's a little bit of a double standard here. And when I look at Samurai from a default point of view, and I've gotten into this argument with them privately about whether or not that should even be allowed. And their argument has always been, if you are an average user, if you're some random person in Africa or Latin America, right? What is your threat model? Maybe you buy on Binance P2P, maybe you buy on a KYC exchange, and you want some kind of privacy on chain. You don't necessarily need privacy from Samurai. For those users, it can be a very useful tool. It's almost like the VPN threat model. And you hear this in the VPN world all the time. In the VPN world, in the privacy world, and just like the tangential digital privacy world, what do you hear? You hear, use Tor, don't use VPNs. We've heard this many times. Why? Because if you use Molvad, you are completely trusting them with your privacy. They know your IP address and they know every website you visit. You are using a custodial privacy model where you're not trusting them with rug pulling your data, but you're trusting them with the privacy of your data. But it's a useful fucking service. It's extremely useful. Hosted VPNs are extremely useful. They give people real privacy gains if they're not a fucking honeypot. And like there is nuance there, right? But I use a hosted VPN all the fucking time. I recommend Molvad and iVPN. I make the joke that if it is a honeypot, we'll go down together. If it's a sensitive situation, if it's a very sensitive situation, you should use Tor. But there's trade-offs with that, right?
Mainly that
everything has fucking trade-offs. Which Marty found out like 5 episodes ago.
That was like 5 months ago. But
it all blends in, Marty. You never know.
Yeah.
Can't put it together.
The whole privacy conversation is such a hard one. So much nuance to it.
Well, I would say the samurai guys fucking hate Fediment, and I'm very bullish on Fediment. So I should just throw that. Should I just throw that in there too? So the Fediment protocol, the Fediment protocol, at its core, will basically, the promise of it, the Fediment open source protocol, is that you can have a wallet that's as easy to use as wallet as Satoshi, no Lightning channel management, nothing, but with privacy from the custodians. So you have no privacy right now from wallet of Satoshi or other custodial wallets. So you'd have privacy from the custodians because it uses Charmy eCash, and you'd have reduced rug pull risk because it's multi-sig. And I will say, it does not matter how many times we talk about it on the podcast. It doesn't matter how many videos BTC Sessions does. It does not matter how many books are written. People use the most convenient options. And if we can make the most convenient options even slightly more private, we will have significant gains. And I always go back to Signal as a metaphor. Privacy people go back and forth on Signal. People don't like Signal. They say it's a honeypot. They say it relies on Intel SGX. Why does it have phone numbers? There's a social graph that's attached to phone numbers, all this shit. Okay. But at the end of the day, millions of people use Signal when they wouldn't use PGP. Because it's easy. Because you can send emoji reactions. Because you can send videos. Right? Because it's simple. Because it's convenient. We need more convenient, easy to use tools that on the trade-off balance try and maximize privacy and sovereignty as best as possible. We need as many tools as possible that have different trade-off balances.
Agreed.
And go on, Marty.
I was going to say, so BTC Pins asked, we need a third Coinjoin implementation to create a common enemy for Samurai and Wasabi Bros to come together to fight. Number one, Join Market exists. Ben the Car Man. I don't think he's here today, but he was here yesterday. Got a nice haircut. Shout out to you, Ben. He should be here today. But devs us tonight. He's got Vortex. Payjoin is
another 1031 company.
Yeah. Well, Vortex
is getting implemented in Mutiny Wallet, but it's getting implemented in Mutiny Wallet, which we've funded. Yeah. And by the way, freaks, this is just going to happen more and more. We're going to try and be as transparent as possible. But the things we're most excited about are going to be the things we talk about, and going to be the things we try and support. Like, that is just how the incentives align.
Yeah.
So I want to be as transparent about it as possible. But yeah, Vortex is going to be implemented into Mutiny Wallet.
Payjoin.
Mutiny Wallet has its own trade-offs.
Payjoin. I think Payjoin.
Nobody uses Payjoin.
But more and more people need to. I mean, I think once, like, perfect example is PubKey, New York. They have a Zeus wallet connected to their node that's always on. So they could be a great place to implement Payjoin.
So, we're just diving into this, Marty. I guess you just wanted to talk about it.
So Payjoin makes every spend a Coinjoin.
Well, no. Payjoin is a collaborative transaction similar to Coinjoins.
Both parties put up an input.
Yeah, the receiver is giving an input to the transaction, right? Rather than the sender only giving the input. Now, I do not think we will see significant. First of all, we haven't really seen significant merchant adoption of Bitcoin anyway, because most people don't spend Bitcoin yet. But a spender needs to want to do a Payjoin, okay? And if you're a privacy-focused spender, that is actually a very good incentive to use Lightning. And the Lightning requires an interactive wallet. So the incentive structure on Payjoin in terms of using it with a merchant isn't really there, because if you're a privacy-focused user, you're going to pay with Lightning rather than paying with Payjoin. Now, where Payjoin could get interesting is with Lightning opens and closes, opening and closing your channels. If every one of those is a Payjoin, there's actually a strong incentive there to do that. I think that could work.
Which is sort of what Vortex tries to do,
Marty,
too, right?
Ironically, I think maybe not Vortex, but Mutiny, it's like part of their plan is to do. We're just talking. I don't know if we're whatever. I love you guys. I'm sorry if we just said something we shouldn't have said, but I think it's part of their plan as well. Ironically, the NFT crowd, the inscription guys, their PSBT transfer mechanism where they're selling their JPEGs that are inscribed on the Bitcoin blockchain is actually, in some situations, is a Payjoin, which actually is a strong incentive for Payjoins because degens trading things is a strong incentive for most things in life. But I just want to push back, Marty, this idea, and we've been guilty of this. I said I was very excited. I am very excited that BTC Pay Server made it easy to accept Payjoins. It's just the incentive's not there, and I see it myself. Like if I'm paying a BTC Pay server, why would I use a Payjoin when I can pay with Lightning and have much better privacy guarantees than paying with a Payjoin? It's just the incentive doesn't exist in that situation.
Yeah, I guess it would be for more like online e-commerce, bigger purchase things. Where you're using BTC Pay server as your point of sale.
But then why wouldn't you just pay with Lightning?
If the transaction is like over $500, and say you're buying something pretty massive.
I mean, I've done $500 Lightning transactions.
Okay, 10,000. Let's say $10,000.
Okay. So in the 5 people making that transaction might use a Payjoin.
Yeah.
And then how much does the merchant have in their wallet that they're contributing inputs to a $10,000 transaction?
I mean, if they're selling goods worth $10,000, I imagine they have some reserves, you know?
Yeah, maybe. I just don't think that's realistic.
It's hard. And I think Fedimints is going to be a big help.
I'm super bullish on Fedimints.
I am as well. We have been since the beginning.
It's true.
You're getting close. Somebody mentioned Cashu.
Cashu's awesome.
Yeah.
Cashu's the same idea as Fedimints. You have privacy from the custodian without the multi-sig component for the rug pull reduction risk. So it makes it simpler, but you obviously still have a single point of failure in terms of rug pulls.
Yeah, it's just one coordinator or one guardian, whatever we're calling them. One person runs the mint.
It's a custodian.
Cashu. Yeah. But I've played around with Cashu. If you haven't yet, go try it. It's really cool. How quick the fascinating thing is the UX of how quick you can get onboarded into these mints and then spend.
Yeah, you can think of like Fedimint or Cashu as like a layer 3. It's interoperable with Bitcoin because it uses Lightning and Bitcoin as the interoperability layer because you can transfer between the two. And then it provides you privacy from the custodians using Charmin eCash.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry for pushing us down the Coinjoin.
We have Joran Headley. In the comments asking how to set up Fedimint. Cashu exists in production, and Callie and anyone else who's contributing to that deserves all the credit in the world for that because you can actually use it today. Fedimints is not publicly released yet. I mean, you can go through the GitHub and whatnot, but there's not really like a stable product out yet.
Yeah.
Soon TM, 2 weeks. It's going to be more than 2 weeks. I'm joking. It's like the 2 weeks meme. Also, by the way, freaks, I said to Marty before we went on air, I was like, dude, we've just been dragged on Twitter with all this Coinjoin stuff. Let's just not talk about it. And he agreed and then just brought it up right as we started. Accidentally, I think. It was not intentional.
No, it wasn't
intentionally.
accidentally.
Deserves credit for it.
It wasn't accidentally. Like we went in deep into like the miscalculation of the unspent capacity. It would have felt wrong to just gloss over it.
Yeah, but I didn't know we were going to talk about the miscalculation of the unspent capacity either because I didn't even know that existed. But anyway, I'm glad we talked about it. Transparency is important.
It is. It is. All right.
But yeah, like I said, freaks, just care.
Care. Should we get back to another portfolio company, Unchained?
Just go to 1031.vc. You can see the whole list.
No, but I mean, obviously we mentioned Unchained's, the news out of Unchained, the rebrand and the Series B in the beginning of the show. But yeah, I think that's actually, it's massive. Number one, that they were able to raise in this environment. Number two, that they were able to raise the amount of money that they did, just generally, not even Bitcoin specifically. It's really hard to raise money unless you're some AI project right now. So the fact that they were able to get a $60 million flag out there and say, hey, we're raising in the bear. I think it's really, again, a validation to what they've done, which is focus on Bitcoin, Bitcoin only, and Bitcoin's native properties to build their products, which I think is going to revolutionize the way financial products get built in the future. It's all going to revolve around multi-sig. And so I think this raise is a testament to them doing things right. And if you recall, over the last 12 months, most of their competitors, BlockFi, Celsius, Voyager, got completely wiped out because
their business model is just to survive.
Yeah. And their business model is set up in a way where their survival is almost guaranteed because of the way they structure their loans, particularly with their lending desk, where 2 or 3 multi-sig, user gets 1 key, you over collateralize the loan, it's like 40% LTV, so it's very hard.
With the best collateral in the world, which is Bitcoin.
Yeah. So shout out to them. Obviously with the rebrand too, no longer Unchained Capital, just Unchained. It's their Facebook moment. They're dropping they're actually dropping the capital, but no, and I really appreciated the.
Don't compare good companies to Facebook ever again.
Hey, I mean that didn't get you all jacked up when Justin Timberlake was like, "Drop the just Facebook."
I mean, Facebook fucked up. They rebranded to Meta when they should have rebranded to AI. They fucked that shit.
Yeah, Meta.ai.
They should have just waited 6 months.
Yeah. So looking forward to what Unchained does with this capital. See what I did there.
We all saw what you did there, Marty.
Yeah.
You
so
ruined
shout out
it
to
when you
them.
asked.
Obviously very near and dear to our hearts here at RHR, TFTC, and 1031. Supported us early on. Just very happy to see good people succeeding, good companies succeeding. Let's get into some juicier stuff.
And I will say it's more than just ideology, right? Because Bitcoin only is more than just ideology. Because Unchained could not exist as it currently exists using native Bitcoin multisig if they had to focus on doing a bunch of other chains and all this other shit. That's why when you see other collaborative custody models like Fireblocks, they use MPP. Because MPC, multi-party computation, right?
Yeah.
Multi-part computation?
Multi-party.
Whatever. It's one of the two.
It's multi-party.
But they use it because they need to do it across all their shitcoins, right? So they can't use Bitcoin native multisig. And so there is a very real world repercussions in terms of business practices when you focus on Bitcoin only. You're able to actually focus on those native properties of Bitcoin and build your business around them and have very strong foundations.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too, multi-party computation, which is like the hacked multi-sig that Fireblocks and others are doing. This sort of went under the radar, but they had a pretty massive bug, which I think led to some fund losses last month. And it's because they're experimenting with relatively untested cryptographic primitives, from what I understand.
I remember Fireblocks lost like $80 million in Ethereum funds about 2 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's more common than... Oh, right. I remember there was that disclosure that a bunch of MPC implementations were vulnerable to a month ago or something like that.
Yeah. So be aware. Do it the right way. Moving on to the next topic, which was brought to my attention yesterday and is very interesting. Ties into the macroeconomic landscape and Bitcoin, which is the fact that Russia's central bank came out 3 days ago, the 17th, I believe, and they made some comments. I'll just read this short snippet that we have up on the screen. The head of the Bank of Russia, Elvira Nabiulina, announced that it is planned to create special authorized organizations through which mining and settlements with subjects of foreign economic activity will take place. The Bank of Russia allows the use of cryptocurrency in external settlements as an experiment, said the head of Central Bank of the Russian Federation at a meeting with the New People faction in the State Duma. We adhere to the same position that within the country, cryptocurrency should not be used. And for external settlements, we assume that this is possible in the form of an experiment. This bill is also being prepared in the form of an experimental legal regime. As the chairman of the central bank clarified, it is planned to create special authorized organizations through which mining and settlements with subjects of foreign economic activity will take place. By the way, this applies not only to cryptocurrencies that work in global systems, but also to normal digital financial assets that, according to our law, can rotate. It is supposed to work out the use of digital financial assets for international settlements, she added. So we did get fact-checked by our resident Russian freak, Rain Dance Dog. He mentioned that one of the words that was translated from Russian to English is a bit of a miss, which is allowed as the wrong translation here for the original Russian word that I can't pronounce or even read. It's more like, in theory, it could be possible. Definitely nothing concrete, much less legally relevant, but interesting from a narrative perspective and for potential future developments. So nothing's happening. A bill's being proposed. Potential for Russia to mine Bitcoin is on the table. They're at least posturing. They're talking about it publicly, which I think is newsworthy, noteworthy, something to bring up. Another interesting thing, Russia, a despotic state, they don't want individual Russians transacting in Bitcoin, being able to buy Bitcoin. This is very specific to international trade. And then the mining aspect. I mean, Russia is already mining Bitcoin via Gazprom. Gazprom partnered with BitRiver, which was one of the mining companies. They were a hosting service.
They're using your Compass miners.
Yeah, they're using your Compass mine. The Russian Federation is using your Compass miners to mine Bitcoin right now.
Yep.
And so it seems like they're at least posturing that they're open to moving down a path of legitimizing Bitcoin mining as a state-run operation.
I mean, Marty, you like talking about like narrative and they're completely captured, right?
Yes, completely captured.
Yeah.
But this is the point.
No, but the word is like, the word they would use is legitimizing, right? But the real word is completely captured.
Yes. And that's
like
the point.
We'll probably hear the same words in America, right?
Well,
like,
that's what
we're legitimizing Bitcoin mining, but it just means like, oh, they're completely captured by the state.
Well, this is why I wanted to bring this up and talk about this, because Russia is going to have a completely captured mining industry. The U.S. should counter by allowing the private mining industry in the states to flourish in the free market. As history has shown, particularly in Russia, it's funny, the state cannot compete with the free market. The U.S. wins by letting entrepreneurs do their thing. So in this geopolitical, macroeconomic landscape where you have the war for the world reserve currency well underway, it seems like the dollar's losing its grip on that status as the reserve currency of the world. We've talked many times in the past months that we believe Bitcoin is the rightful heir to the reserve currency of the world just because it's the best money ever created. You're going to have all these BRICS nations trying to create yuan back, gold back, whatever Concanati scheme they have planned. And we have an opportunity to leapfrog them as they try to take out the dollar by embracing Bitcoin, and not at the state level, not at the federal level, just by allowing everyday individuals, everyday American citizens like yourself and me to transact in Bitcoin, to mine Bitcoin, to accumulate Bitcoin, to spend Bitcoin, to add privacy to our Bitcoin. Just let the free market do its thing. If you really want to beat Russia, if you want to leapfrog the BRICS countries as they scheme to take us out at the monetary level, just let us do our thing. Let the American entrepreneur do his and her thing, and we will win. But with that being said, we have to add the caveat that we're going to have to really push the government to. We're literally going to have to go to the government and like, hey, guys, all right, no, we're just going to do our thing. You shut the fuck up. All right, you sit in the corner over here.
Yeah, I mean, at least in the intermediary, like that probably will not happen.
It can happen, freaks. It's happened before. How was this country founded? King George said, I'm going to tax your tea. I'm going to tax your cotton. I'm going to tax...
I would say, it was definitely not founded on asking permission.
No, it wasn't. We don't have to have a revolutionary war. This is the beauty of this. This time, we have the mechanism, the communication technology to spread messages, to do this peacefully, to hold private keys, to mine Bitcoin. We can do it. We just need an I am Spartacus moment. We need people to stand up and say, no, hey, you government, it's taxed me to death. It's inflated my savings. It's the anniversary of Waco this year that's slaughtered women and children. It's taken us on wars, destroyed our financial system, jacked up the farm industry, fucked up our food. You know what? Maybe you guys aren't doing things the right way. Let us take over. Let the American entrepreneur take over. We need people to say, no, I'm not going to let you force me to unplug my miner. No. I'm not going to let you not let me drill this well. No. I will spend Bitcoin. But there does need to be a critical mass of people doing that, because if not, they're just going to shoot us. So you decide. You don't like talking about this.
No, I mean, it needed a hard stop. It was that took a turn at the end.
It's anniversary wake up. I think we need to get Robert F. Kennedy to be president. He's coming at the CIA. He's calling out CBDCs. He wants to...
Whatever. You like to talk about psyops.
You think that's a psyop?
I don't fucking know. I don't fucking give a shit about any politicians.
They shot his uncle for saying he wanted to
if you want to endorse
CIA
a politician, if you want to endorse a politician on air,
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
I will not be doing that.
Now that the giggle monster in me has calmed down a bit, I want to apologize for sneezing on air. It came out of nowhere.
That part was a natural reaction. It was fine. I handled my composure.
Yeah. I didn't. I was like, oh no. Luckily, Logan had a napkin handy. That wasn't sneezing. It was a big sneeze. What else do we got here? Anything else on Russia?
I mean, look, Russia is mining Bitcoin. Russia will mine Bitcoin. States will compete and mine Bitcoin. This is to be expected, particularly states that are, facing sanctions, and are cut off from world trade and have very large energy reserves. It's a very obvious decision. These states will also try and stop their subjects from using Bitcoin. And that's kind of the beauty of the game theory, right? The beauty of the game theory is power-hungry, corrupt states need Bitcoin for themselves, so they can't fully attack it because they need it themselves, even though they don't want their individual people to use it, and individuals get empowered as a result. And ideally, the net benefit is to individuals, and I think the net benefit is to individuals because these corrupt states already have, plenty of tools at their disposal. This is the first real, not the first real tool, but financially, it's one of the first tools that actually empowers individuals at a grassroots level. You can save Bitcoin, you can spend Bitcoin, you can use all different sorts of tools, all without permission, brought to you by the greater open source movement. And that is particularly powerful, and I don't think people truly understand the magnitude of that.
Yeah, and that was on TFTC. Had a couple conversations this week, not really Bitcoin focused, but more focused on other areas of the sovereignty freedom movement that are gaining some momentum. And I think that's extremely encouraging because they're beginning to realize the beauty of Bitcoin, just as we're realizing the beauty of what they're pushing for, particularly with vaccine mandates and then regenerative farming. So I had Michael Koss and Dr. Joel Walskog on, who are part of React 19, which is trying to bring a voice to those who've been injured by certain shots. And then Charles from Faro was on this morning. He's a regenerative farmer producing skincare products that... I
love Charles.
Yeah, he's the man.
Good dude.
Good Tennessean. Tennessean? A volunteer?
Well aware.
Call him a volunteer. Is it Tennessean?
Yeah, I get.
Tennessean?
Tennessean, yeah.
Tennessean.
That's what it is.
Is it Tennessean or Tennessean?
I don't know the pronunciation, but it's spelled Tennessean.
With an A-N?
Yeah, E-A-N.
Yeah. Why don't you just add an N? Tennessean. You're Tennessean. But regardless.
When you move here, you can help change the narrative.
Love Tennessee. We need distributed. We can't. Yeah, we need distributed. But no, the point I'm trying to get at, there's many people focused on their particular verticals, their niches, their way to bring more sovereignty and security to local communities. Bitcoin's a great tool. Regenerative farming, shaking your farmer's hand, is a great way to do this. And then opting out of the corporate healthcare system and finding doctors with private practices is a great way to begin taking your ball and going home and saying, hey, state, I'm not going to play anymore. So I'm optimistic. I'm having a good, optimistic week where I'm feeling like there is a critical mass of people beginning to wake up, And not only that, beginning to leverage more tools, which segues back to the list that we have, which is the budding ecosystem on top of Nostr that is flourishing. I mean, we have
Nostr rising.
Nostr is rising. So let me just read. I'll just list off a few. Waveman, open source music player for Nostr. Zapworthy,
cool.
Nostr highlights. N3XB, Naive Nostr, no KYC exchange for Bitcoin, but it extends beyond Bitcoin too. It's just an agnostic exchange.
Nostr is so much more than just a Twitter competitor.
Yeah.
It's an open, permissionless, censorship-resistant communication protocol that can be used for so many things. I really do believe that we cannot comprehend the different kinds of tools that can be built out on this thing.
Yeah. It's just like a music player, like that Zapworthy. Shout out to Pablo for Zapworthy. Just highlight Zap. It's so dynamic. What you can do with this. Like, I want to figure out a way. Somebody needs to build, or somebody probably already has. I just haven't come across it. Maybe you have, like the podcast syndication on Nostr. Like, how can we just have Nostr pick up our RSS feed and syndicate the show?
That already does that. That was like early days. There's Fiat Jaff created a relay that's called RSS Lay, that you can submit RSS feeds to it, and it just does RSS feed posts. Super simple.
Yeah.
So you can already follow Cell Dispatch and Rabbit Hole Recap and TFTC. Like, Marty doesn't even know it exists, but like his podcast is syndicated on Nostr.
That's the beauty of it.
Because it's RSS is an open standard as well.
Yeah. I'm very bullish. Out of this, I mean, I think I'd like to focus on NX3B. This seems really cool. So it's like how would you describe this? A third layer? Is that how they describe it?
I think they're calling it a third layer. It doesn't really matter. It's just all marketing speak.
Layer 2 the Nostr Layer 2 protocol.
So it's a second layer on Nostr. I talked about this at length with Ray on Cell Dispatch, because he has his CivKit protocol. But the general high level idea of what we could start to see in terms of marketplaces that use Nostr is, you could have a bunch of different Craigslists front ends, right? You could have a bunch of different Paxful front ends and Peach front ends, and all these different front ends for marketplaces, right? How you want the user interface to work, how you want the security to work, how you want everything to work, right, on the front end. But they all communicate with each other using this open communication protocol, right? So they have shared liquidity pools, right? Just if you need to buy a desk, it doesn't have to be in your app. It just needs to be in an app that is supported, that supports the same communication protocol, right? If you want to buy Bitcoin, it doesn't have to be in your app. It just has to be in an app that supports this open communication protocol. And as a result, they're all able to communicate across each other and share the network effect, rather than the network effect being isolated to a single app.
Yeah. That's
cool.
I mean, the whole relay infrastructure, just being able to tap into that is revolutionary.
Yes.
And again, I mean, whether it's client-based or there's better relay tools coming out, people that are getting really smart on the networking side and the caching side and making a better user experience in terms of managing the data, displaying the data. Very impressed by the speed with which Nostr has gotten to the point that it has today, which also brings up another question. Like, are we like is there going to be this hype cycle where you have like all this activity and excitement, and then it's sort of like Bitcoin, where you have hype cycles, they die down, but then like real structural building happens and the hype dies down? Like, how long do you think this is going to take? Or do you think there's something special that is inciting breakaway development similar to what we're seeing in AI?
I mean, look, it's a little bit different than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin hype cycles are dominated by the price of the asset. So, I expect on the Nostr side to be a little bit smoother in that regard, because everyone won't get like poor. I guess Nostr development right now and Nostr projects right now, and we're talking about it, is dominated by Bitcoiners, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if it kind of is attached to Bitcoin hype cycles in the beginning. Is probably actually the real way of looking at it. Because why do Bitcoin hype cycles affect
Well, I feel like it would be
individuals
correlated.
Well, I don't know about that because like the reason Bitcoin hype cycles affect Bitcoin projects and affect Bitcoin individuals is because we're all poor together and we're all rich together and then we're all poor together and then we're all rich together. Like,
yeah, but this is like the meme in Bitcoin development. When the price is running, nobody gets any work done.
Yeah, but also like the meme, and we've talked about this, like that bear markets are for building. Bear markets are for fucking surviving. Like there's a massive confirmation bias because the only people you talk to are the people that survive the fucking bear market. Like the majority of people that are quote unquote building in a bear market just don't even fucking survive.
Yeah.
Like obviously the ones who persevere and build through the bear market do really well. Like, yeah, but that's confirmation bias.
That's a good point.
And yeah, like we're distracted when it's fucking the price is ripping. But yeah, we also have like a decent amount of disposable income. And like that helps. Like money rules everything in this world.
Buy espresso machines, champagne,
lawnmower.
2017 Odell did not stay humble.
I never stay humble. I have to remind myself to stay humble. That how do you not? You realize this, Marty? You know that. That's why. Like the reminder is for myself as well as everyone else.
I think you did a good job last cycle. 2017 though.
I was straight caps Odell.
Yeah.
I did caps for like 90 days. All caps all day.
When is caps Odell coming back? What price?
200K by conference day, Marty.
I know. Smash buy at the local top in 2019.
We'll all laugh about that at 500K or whatever. It'll be like, oh, like, why was Matt so bearish? But, yeah, I mean, look, we just, like, it's survival. The game is survival. The game is momentum. The game is consistency. The game is not over leveraging yourself. The game is not thinking you're smarter than everyone else and being humble enough to know you need to learn more. The game is not thinking you're more important than Bitcoin and the greater open source movement. Like that's where it comes from. And it's important for people to you need constant reminders. And I constantly remind myself and
literally every day.
I take you all along for the ride.
Yeah, that is important. I love the morning tweet.
There you go.
I got to get a stay humble stack sats troll in today. Don't ever bet against mempool's not clearing.
I know. I saw it. I didn't engage.
I noticed. Speaking of staying humble, a very interesting story. Bhutan, their sovereign wealth fund, was secretly holding millions of dollars of cryptocurrency. And the way we found out about it is because they got rugged by BlockFi and Celsius.
Many such cases.
It's
pretty cool. It's pretty cool that like a tiny country was just secretly stacking sats.
Yeah. So Bhutan,
among other things, it's not sats if they don't hold custody, but I think they were also holding custody, right?
Yeah.
Of their own funds. It's like some of it got rugged.
Yeah. In the 3 months shown in the Celsius filing, Druck, which is Druck Holdings and Investment, I guess they were the investment arm of the Sovereign Wealth Fund, withdrew more than $65 million and deposited nearly $18 million in digital assets. So net, they're still have access to more than they lost, it seems. At least on Celsius, recently filed claim by BlockFi alleged that Druck failed and refused to repay a $30 million USD coin loan in full, even after the lender liquidated a collateral of, holy shit, 1,888 Bitcoin, worth $76.5 million at the time, leaving an unpaid balance of 820,000. So they got liquidated. They lost almost 2,000 Bitcoin. So they had a significant stash. And if that's what they were putting into BlockFi, imagine what they have outside of there. Unless they're complete.
I don't know.
degens.
People are idiots, dude. Yeah, people just put all the. They should have stayed humble. They should have read the morning tweet.
Yeah.
By the way, when I started the morning tweet, it was over 200 days ago. And BlockFi hadn't gone under yet. FTX hadn't gone under yet. Celsius hadn't gone under yet. Banks hadn't gotten run on. It was like, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna. What I'm doing right now is I'm patting myself on the back, but the timing was impeccable. I was
warned
about to say I'm
everybody.
not going to pat myself on the back, but I literally am.
I'll do it for me. We warned everybody. You are the yield.
Yeah.
You are the yield freaks. What is the scam next cycle going to be?
You are the yield, Bhutan.
Yeah, Bhutan found out the hard way. I mean, $100 million, that's like 5% of that, or no, like 2.5% of that fund. They lost
I
that.
have no idea. Not going to do math on air.
I had something to bring up. I had a segue in my mind. But we'll stay on the international tip with a reminder of our good friends, the demons over at FATF. EU Parliament passed the Financial Action Task Force travel rule and MiCA licensing regulations. None of the bills make an exclusive mention of Bitcoin in the context of other cryptocurrencies and non-custodial services are exempt. So there is a silver lining. We don't like the demons over at FATF, but as of a year ago when their guidelines came out, beginning of last year, maybe it was even 2 years ago. I know it was in the beginning of 2021 or 2022. The language that they had in the guidelines seemed that they were going to lump what they define as unhosted wallets in. Are you holding something up, or is that like, are you in the bathroom? I don't know what Matt's doing right now. Anyway.
It's new art at Bitcoin Park.
Boss. As of a year or 2 years ago, the guidelines said, hey, unhosted wallets, as they define them, we're going to have to share information about counterparts and peer-to-peer transactions. It seems like that did not get added in the actual implementation in the EU. Peer-to-peer transactions from a regular wallet to a regular wallet are not in scope. Obviously, KYC, AML restrictions are going to heat up with this travel rule. The transaction threshold is €0. Every crypto asset transfer between obliged entities must fulfill the TFR's data collection, storage, and exchange obligations with the counterparty if anybody sends anything over €0 worth of value.
Over €0? Wow, what a limit.
I mean, we didn't even talk about that. Like, in the EU, you can't even make cash transactions over $1,000 without potentially being sent to jail.
Many such cases.
Yeah. Again, for you freaks who are new to the show, Financial Action Task Force is one of the most hated organizations at this show. It is an unelected supranational organization that sets guidelines around the KYC, AML regulations that many of the world's financial institutions and banking institutions have to live with under. Again, supranational, unelected. They set guidelines. That's all they do. But these guidelines just so happen to get adopted by many of the central banks and jurisdictions around the world without much editing. Props where props are due to the EU here. It seems that they did edit out the ability of peer-to-peer transactions, but I would not hold on to that win for as long as possible. They'll probably nix it at some point in the future.
They get no props. They go fuck themselves.
I was just trying to be fair and balanced, Markets and crypto assets. These people can't even define these things like appropriately. Unhosted wallets.
It's intentional, Marty. Of course, they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, and so the
default
information
should be hosted wallets in their mind.
Logan, click on the information required infographic on the page. Not that one, not the timeline. That one. Information required. Originator name. The distributed ledger address. So they want your address, your name.
Your Bitcoin address.
Yes, your crypto asset account number. I don't know what that is.
It's like your account number at the exchange.
Yeah, at the exchange. Your address, your home address.
Yes, that's where you live.
Must include the name of the country, official personal document number, and customer identification number, or alternatively, date and place of birth, originator LEI, law enforcement institution. So I guess where applicable, an equivalent official identifier. So you have to include the agency that will come knock on your door if you break the law in the eyes of FATF. Beneficiary name, beneficiary distributed, same
thing.
On the other side. These people hate you. Historically, exchanges, governments, Equifax, you name it, websites. They cannot secure this data. Now the European government is forcing third parties to collect and attempt to secure this data, with attempt being the most important word there, because they're not going to be able to. Somebody say something in the chat.
These people hate you historically.
They do. They hate you. They want control over you. Which is another thing. Another optimistic thing. Pull up to Jordan Peterson. We're not going to run the tape because it's a little too long. But
fuck Jordan Peterson.
Agree. It's a bit of a LARP in some instances.
He's just another influencer. Just another statist influencer.
But I don't know. This was a good one, where he's basically calling out the climate hysteria as a Trojan horse to get more control over humanity. I think another thing that's making me optimistic this week, I think people are beginning to realize the climate cult is just that, a cult that wants more control over you. They're using the guise of cataclysmic climate change and a climate crisis to get more control over you. You can't do that, because if you do that, you're going to hurt the climate. You're going to raise emissions. You're going to change the weather. So we need to prevent you, to control you from doing things that you should be able to do. I think people are waking up to this.
Jordan Peterson can go fuck himself.
Why do you think so?
Have you not seen him on Twitter lately?
No. Oh, with the Anon stuff. Yeah.
He's like attacking NIMS. He's blocking people. He's saying that we shouldn't have free speech on the internet.
Yeah, that's
like classic. It's classic bullshit. Like you virtue signal to an audience that is very easy to virtue signal to, quite frankly. You just say the things they want to hear. Then you get a platform. You become an elite. And then you fucking smack down on everyone underneath you. He's the epitome of what's wrong with this fucking society right now.
And not stay humble. I agree.
Well, you're about to play his fucking clip on my show, our show.
Well, our show, sir. Okay.
I already said our show.
I said we're not going to play. I said we're not going to play the clip.
Okay.
But is everyone going to line on everything with everybody? Probably not. Obviously.
No, but he can go fuck himself.
Strongly disagree with his attempt to curb free speech on the internet.
That's a pretty big one. That's
that one, and he's a complete hypocrite. Like, he's like, make your bed and clean your room, and he got addicted to benzos for 5 years.
They should, yeah, exactly. I didn't want to go there, but yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Elon should ban him from Twitter, and then we'll see what he says about free speech, because then he's going to be for free speech. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's where you see the real hypocrisy. It happens all the time.
Yeah. I hate to do this. I'm about to piss myself.
Do you want to end it, or are you just going to leave?
No, can you ad-lib for a minute? I'll be real quick.
Yeah, can we take Jordan Peterson off the screen, Logan? Freaks. Oh, well, I didn't know I was going to be the only thing on the screen. Now it's like two. Anyway, freaks.
It's just you.
We have some great artwork. Thanks, Logan. Logan, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I also don't like Jordan Peterson.
Thank you, sir. We have some great artwork at the park. This is from No Good Node. Very grateful for the many Bitcoin artists that send artwork to Bitcoin Park here in Nashville. We're trying to become a patron of the arts here, which I think is an important aspect of, I don't know, a good society. As much art as possible. Let's get as much art as possible. So that's from No Good Node. And then we have this great piece. A bunch of great pieces came in today from, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Asonaha, I think is how you pronounce it, who I actually met in Miami last year, and his mom. I met his mom. His mom is super sweet. So we have this piece. It's a fucking awesome piece. You got the Guy Fawkes mask with infinity divided by 21 million. Really fucking cool. Javi's asking, is physical Bitcoin art considered fiat art? I would consider it Bitcoin art. I will say that we have not spent any money on any of these pieces. We're displaying them. That is up to you to decide if you think it's worth it or not. But they are for sale if people want to buy them, but it just goes to the artist. I also have the first Bitcoin Park swag on. Bitcoin Park hat in dark camo, which you might have noticed. And with all that said, just remember that Marty can go fuck himself.
Sorry, a lot of bodily fluids today.
Me and Logan carried it.
Logan, what am I fucking myself over?
No, I just added that in there. Just fuck with you. I did an art display.
Oh, nice. That
You just missed it. I told the joke.
Was it good? Probably not.
It was the best joke that Matt has ever heard.
It's true. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh, Jevy's saying if we're shouting out Bitcoin artists, we should give Madex a shout out.
Shout out to Madex.
Madex is fucking awesome. I do have Madex art here. I'm gonna go grab it. Marty, why don't you? I
want to pull up
for a little bit.
I mean, maybe considered a bit radical, but his art piece, I believe Francis Poulat picked it up. His art piece with the poem about the man who just wants to be left alone. That's a pretty powerful piece. If you freaks haven't seen it yet. Ooh. Is that the one I was just talking about? End of fiat. Death to time thieves. I like that. Let me see if I can find this.
I don't have my headphones on, so I can't hear Marty, but he also does this awesome shit in the back where he puts an open dime and a block height. One of my favorite artists. Appreciate you, Madex. Thank you for letting us display your art here at Bitcoin Park in Nashville.
Yeah, Matt can't hear me right now. I'm going to try and find this piece, though. I was saying his piece that he did, I think Francis picked it up, but about the man who just wants to be left alone. That was a powerful one.
He has dope art. Yeah. Well, anyway, the goal is to have the single best Bitcoin art collection in the world here at Bitcoin Park. So,
oh, that reminds me, I have to go pick up my War Bonds print.
Oh, a print? We have the original here at Bitcoin Park.
Yeah. You don't own it though. It's just there to be this like little art gallery. Okay. You have it there until somebody picks it up.
Fair enough.
You know,
it's not for sale. The original Bitcoin War Bonds is not for sale.
I thought it was for sale.
No. It's just on display.
Yeah, it's being lent to you. Okay.
It's pretty cool.
It is very cool. That's why I bought the print.
Yeah, I own the print too.
Executive Order 69-420. What else do we have to talk about today? Oh, Ordinals. Broken already.
That's part of the reason the mempool is cleared.
Yeah, it's broken. It's broken.
It's what we said.
Yeah,
the issue, inscriptions are like hard-coded on Bitcoin. They're enforced by Bitcoin nodes. But ordinal theory, the idea of transferring them and numbering them and sending them
it's like a taxonomy system.
It was just complete bullshit.
Yeah, it's like
so they like fucked up the numbering. They like skipped over a bunch of them, and now they're all arguing about whether or not which ones are which numbers and shit.
Yeah, it's fun while it lasted.
We said that ahead of time.
Yeah, it's a subjective theory, subjective taxonomy, like a Dewey Decimal System applied to individual Satoshis that has its inherent flaws.
Completely separate of the Bitcoin consensus system. So right now I believe they've all like kind of just slowed down and stopped.
Yeah, they're trying to decide whether or not they completely fork and start renumbering, like just completely borking all the ordinals that have been printed to date, or just continuing.
I'm not a part of it, fortunately.
Neither am I. Mempools did clear overnight. Just need one more time, and I win my. It's 100,000 sat bet. I'm not gonna dupe you.
In total, it's 200,000 sats. I will owe you.
Okay, if you want to send me 200,000 sats, I'll take them. But we doubled or nothing. It's the first bet.
We doubled 50 to 100. Okay, if you say so. I'm going to send it one sat per byte.
I'm a man of honor, and you're sending it over Lightning. I'm going to send you an invoice.
What, you're afraid it's not going to clear?
I just prefer. I like fat UTXOs on chain, okay? 100,000 sats is not fat enough.
Stay humble, Marty. 100,000 sats is generational wealth.
I'll die on this hill with those fat UTXOs, freaks.
I think 100,000 sats is like a very nice, sizable UTXO. Like that is a little bit ridiculous, Marty.
No. Peasant UTXO.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Noted.
Logan agrees with me. He's just like, oh, disgust. We got a couple.
I said noted. Reminds me of Barry Silbert. He still owes billions of dollars, by the way, freaks. I got shat on pretty hard when I first started calling him out. That it was just for engagement, but I didn't really get that much engagement off of it, and also still owes the billions of dollars.
Yeah, speaking of Barry Silbert, Consensus is in Austin next week.
Are you excited? Just shitcoin capital of the world, Austin, Texas.
No, that's Miami. The Bitcoin capital of the world. I am excited because we're going to be throwing a lot of Bitcoin-focused events here in Austin next week. We got Lit Devs on Tuesday. We've got the Nakamoto debate series next Wednesday here at the Commons.
Bit tonight?
Bit Devs tonight, yeah.
Okay.
It's the third Thursday of every month.
I got to remind you, you're not a good shill.
I said it earlier.
Sorry, continue.
I mentioned it earlier when I talked about Ben Carmen.
Okay. Go to Bit Devs tonight in Austin. It's going to be fucking awesome.
I'm not going to be there. I got one of my best friends from the high school in town. So maybe I'll drag him to Bit Devs, but I don't think he'd like it.
Bit Devs is awesome. What's not to like?
He's in like commercial real estate. Like really doesn't get Bitcoin.
Well, so he's in the shitcoin space. He needs to get into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Be the change he needs to see in the world.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so what's next week? You got Lit Devs?
We got Lit Devs. You guys are doing something to Pleb Labs too, correct, Logan? Pleb Lab, excuse me.
Pleb Lab, Bitcoin plus plus.
Yes, Bitcoin plus plus. End of the week, correct?
Yes, and next Friday is the start.
Yeah, I believe. Bitcoin plus plus.
Nifty's a fucking legend. I'm so grateful we have Nifty.
I am as well. Nakamoto debate series here at the Commons next Wednesday night. Timely debate. Parker and I guess what do we refer to ourselves? The what is it when you have a group of council? The Commons Council.
Blue checks. Oh
no. What the fuck? The Commons Council decided.
Can we give a shout out to Parker for not bending the knee and getting a blue check while Marty did?
No.
Huge shout out to Parker.
No, we can't.
Thank you, Parker. Appreciate you.
Twitter
Thank you for not falling for Elon's social credit score.
Anyway, the Commons Council gathered and we decided that the first debate series event, the Nakamoto Debate Forum event, is going to be free. Going to be a lot of people in town, obviously with the New York Times article last week. Bitcoin mining, energy consumption is top of mind for everybody. So the event's going to be free Wednesday night here at the Commons. I believe it starts at 7 or maybe even 6. But it's free, but it is limited. So if you do want to come, go to the event page and get a ticket. We will have to turn people away from the door if they don't have a ticket. And the debate is between Steve Barber.
How much is it?
It's free. Free 99.
But
free
they
99.
need to get on. They need to get the ticket.
Yeah, because we can't have like 1,000 people in the Commons. It's just not suited for that many people.
How many people are? What's the limit?
I think it's like 200.
Anyway, it's scarce, freaks. Go get your ticket.
Get your ticket.
So it's Steve Barber versus
Jesse Pelton in the resolution. So if you guys didn't hear me a couple weeks ago, this is a debate series that we're going to start here at the Commons that is modeled off of the Soho Forum debate series that Reason and Gene Epstein throw in New York. When I was in New York, it was one of my favorite events to go to. Safe debated, I believe it was Larry White or George Selgin. Yep. I think it was George Selgin.
No, it was Larry White.
It was Larry White. About Bitcoin.
I was there with you. We were drinking out of a flask.
Selgin debated the guy who wrote like the negative interest rate policy book. I forget who that is, but that was a good debate too. This debate, the resolution is hydrocarbons are the most sustainable source of energy to mine Bitcoin. Steve will be putting forth the affirmative. Jesse will be putting forth the negative, and then the Meester will be the moderator. So it's a really cool debate style, different type of content in the Bitcoin space that we're really excited to get started here at the Commons. This will be the first one. Again, it's free. Get your tickets. We'll link to them in the show notes if you do want to come. And if you know anybody in the shitcoin world, it's going to be here at Consensus. Get them down to the Commons, whether it's the debate, lit devs, get them down to Pleb Lab for Bitcoin Plus Plus. Let's get these people exposed to the signal.
Some other events happening on Monday through Wednesday at Pleb Lab as well for Bitcoin Plus Plus.
What are they?
What?
There's an Ordinals meetup. It's just a open core working day and then a 3D printing workshop.
Yeah, 3D printing workshop. Car, by the way, I owe you a text if you're listening. I'm going to send it after this. So maybe if you're not listening live, you'll hear this later. Yeah, it's going to be a great week in Austin. What's going on in Nashville next week? Anything?
No, we're skipping next week. We had a big week this last week. Yesterday was crazy. We had so we're trying to empower the local Nashville developer community, non-Bitcoin developers. So we already host the React meetup, Nashville React meetup, and the Nashville PHP meetup. We hope to soon host the Nashville Python meetup as well at Bitcoin Park. And yesterday we had 15 meetup organizers of different Nashville tech meetups all meet at Bitcoin Park. It's like a meta meetup of meetup organizers. And it was fantastic. And we all shared notes and we told them we'd be happy to host their meetups at Bitcoin Park. And, you know, the only way they can buy drinks if they're at Bitcoin Park is with Bitcoin. So the selfish goal is that hopefully they'll come into the Bitcoin ecosystem and we'll have even stronger Bitcoin developer community. May 10th is our mempool summit. So if you go to bitcoinpark.com/meetup, you can see the full list of events here at Bitcoin Park. But we have Craig Raw coming in May, right before Miami. He's going to do a Sparrow workshop. And we have Wiz coming in. We're going to have this whole mempool summit. It's going to be really great.
Yeah. Loving it. I love that cross-pollination. That's probably one of the most high leverage things we can do as Bitcoiners is reach out to these other developer communities, these other tech circles.
100%.
Lightly orange pill them. Say, hey, you can host your meetup here, but you got to spend Bitcoin if you want anything to drink.
Exactly. Like, I mean, water's free, but if you want anything premium, you need to pay with Bitcoin.
Yeah, you guys should go like festival, just charge like $13 and sats for water.
Yeah, you need Bitcoin. You're gonna go thirsty otherwise.
You can go drink the sink water in the bathroom.
That's exciting. I'm excited for your debate series. I like that idea as a concept.
Yeah,
I like debates. Oh, that reminds me. So a bunch of different influencers on Twitter ran with the narrative that the IMF had finally launched their CBDC project this week. That is because nobody checks their sources and very few people actually care about the authenticity of something they do before they send an angry engagement tweet. This project is called Unicoin. It is an absolute shitcoin, and it appears that they released a single press release claiming to have partnerships with a bunch of governments around the world that they do not have. This is a very common tactic among shitcoins. Ripple pioneered it. You just pretend you have partnerships. You release a press release. A bunch of different sources pick it up, and they all link back to the same press release. Zero Hedge picked it up. A bunch of shitty crypto news sites picked it up. And then some people quoted Zero Hedge, and then another sources were like, it was just bullshit all the way down, all the way leading back to a single press release that the shitcoin project released. So you can safely ignore that project. But it's a nice cautionary tale that there's much bullshit out there.
There's a lot of bullshit out there. We'll try to shield you guys from the bullshit.
Did you see the Unicoin news?
Yeah, I did. I stayed away from it because it seemed like,
Straight shitcoin.
Why would the IMF be issuing that? That's what didn't make sense to me. Like, they're more of like a loan shark than a distributor of currencies. Didn't make sense. Bullshit meter went off immediately.
Yeah, exactly. Once you're in the space for a decent amount of time, it should go off. I would hope.
Yeah. All right, let's get to Boostagrams, and we do have one shout out. I forgot to take the contribute page off the website, so we got a shout out that I'll read as well. But no more shout outs, freaks. It's all Boostagrams from here on out. Top 4 from Rabbit Hole Recap
Fucking
248.
Marty.
The New York Times is a dying blog. Cheers, fellas. At Mark C, 52,225 sats. A palindrome boost. We love our palindrome boost here. Cheers, fellas. Today is my last day working for Citibank, starting at a TFTC sponsor on Monday. Let's go. Perfect timing with the global depression on the horizon. Let's fucking go. Unrelated.
We only
What's
have
the
two
best BBQ
sponsors right now?
What's the best BBQ spot in Austin if I have one meal to get while I'm there? I've been told Terry Black's. Terry Black's is very good. If you're going to do Terry Black's, here's the move. You don't wait in line. You order online, and you go pick it up, and you go eat in comfort of your own house. Logan's nodding his head in agreement here.
See, convenience at the sake of privacy.
That's what I do at Salt Lake.
That's what you do at Salt Lake. Do you like Salt Lake? What's
You
your
should
favorite?
Wait online and pay in cash.
The way you judge any barbecue place is you just go there and you get a piece of brisket with no sauce. Right?
Yeah. I mean, Cooper's is our unofficial barbecue sponsor here at the Commons. It's where we go after bit devs usually. I do love Cooper's. Cooper's is really good too.
Not very good.
I think it's very good.
Cooper's A.
The best Texas barbecue is Shotgun Willie's, and it's in East Nashville.
Lockhart Smitty's.
Where's Lockhart Smitty's?
It used to be Kreutz Market, but now it's called Smitty's, and there's another place called Kreutz Market that's not the same place.
I'm very confused. Terry Black's good. Love
Barbecue
Terry Black's. If you want to eat at the establishment, paying cash, I recommend Cooper's over Terry Black's. You're going to have to wait in a long line at Terry Black's. Cooper's is just good. The sirloin's great.
If you can't pay in Bitcoin, freaks, you should pay in cash.
But
Practice what you preach.
if you're willing to order online and pick up, Terry Black's is good. That's usually our Saturday move here. Don't feel like making sandwiches or anything. We order Terry Black's and pick it up.
Next time you come to Nashville, I'm taking you to Shotgun Willie's.
Okay. At Eric99.
And the reason I say it's Texas barbecue is it's literally a Texas family that moved to Nashville and started a barbecue place.
Okay. All right.
So you still get credit.
I love barbecue. At Eric99, 50,000 sats. Stay humble, stack sats. Thank you, Eric, for your
Great
continued
advice.
support.
Ride or die freak.
At Mate 8 Mythrander. God damn it. 8 Mythrander.
Also ride or die freak. 8 Mythrander.
8 Mythrander. 7,777 sats. Another palindrome boost. Cheers to MVK trying to give me a shout out at the end. Yeah, that's if you guys listened last week. Party rip. MVK did try to give 8 Mythrander the shout out. At Cryosats 5,000 sats. Stay humble, stack sats. Tell Washington to go fuck itself.
Great advice.
Go fuck yourself, Washington. And then last ever shout out got snuck in here. Let me pull it up.
You got to remove the page, Marty.
I know. That's on me. So let me make sure. Yeah. Yo, Odell, Marty, love you guys. Mid-40s freak from the People's Republic of Connecticut. We, the citizens of Connecticut, are grateful our powerful state government comrades have taken action to protect us from purchasing Bitcoin weekly via direct deposit. Prime Trust Bank does not have the necessary state-sanctioned papers. It must be stopped indefinitely for our protection. Thank goodness Big Brother is watching over us all. In response, I'm organizing our first Northwest Connecticut Bitcoin meetup Thursday, April 27th at 6 p.m. at Brewery Legitimus in New Hartford, Connecticut. Go to ctbtc.info for details. Stay humble and stack sats, freaks. Peace and love. Did you hear it?
Oh, I got disconnected.
Connecticut got rugged by Prime Trust, too. Prime Trust got rugged by the state of Connecticut.
While you were talking about the Prime Trust rugging, by the way, this was the state I was just talking about the other day.
What? That last week when you were like, there's a state, and you wouldn't say
I think it was 2 weeks ago that I said there was a state that was about to rug.
Yeah.
It was Connecticut.
They got rugged.
I will say there's more states coming, And I don't actually think this is a
State issue.
I don't think this is like a war against Bitcoin or cryptocurrency or whatever. Like, this is Prime Trust having issues.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. They leveraged the Nevada charter, which some states, it's a wonky workaround that some states are beginning.
No, it's not the Nevada charter either.
No?
No.
It's their handling of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, state have a certain requirement for you to have a money transfer license in their state, and Prime Trust is failing those requirements.
Beware, freaks. Beware.
And it's like each one comes up due, and then they're failing for the same reason across the states.
Yeah. How many more states are in the docket here?
Well, there are 50 states in the union, Marty.
There are.
Yeah.
I thought there was 51.
And Puerto Rico is a territory.
And Guam.
Guam is also a territory, yeah.
This is 52.
Yeah.
There's some Virgin Islands. St. John.
U.S. Virgin Islands, another territory, right?
Yeah. Beware,
Guam,
freaks.
Guam is Guam a territory as well? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is.
But is this like the same level as Puerto Rico? I don't really know.
I don't know. It always confuses me every election season. I'm like, can these people vote? Does their vote even matter? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Kind of fucked up.
Yeah. Freaks, I want to apologize for my snot rocket earlier. I do not appreciate the I do not appreciate the nickname that's popped out of this episode. If anybody
Wait,
calls
what is the nickname?
Snotty Bent, I don't like that.
Oh yeah, we have L in the comments. Samoa is another one.
Uncle Snotty. I don't like this Finch.
Another U.S. territory.
You called me in a weak moment.
Snotty.
I'm sick. My children got me sick. I'm here.
Snotty Bent is so good.
This is my flu game, and you guys are making fun of me. I came here sick, under the weather. We need to be here. The show must go on, no matter the state of my health. And you guys are making fun of me. I don't appreciate it. Just want to let it be known.
Thanks, Snotty.
That was fun. I haven't had a giggle fit like that in quite a while.
Yeah, the giggle fit afterward is what really made it. It wasn't the snot.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least to me.
I was laughing at the comments, and then my reaction was just like, oh no. Too many seed oils. Children are bacterial bombs. You send them out into the world, they come back and they get you. They get you. God, stop calling me Uncle Snotty. You know what? I love the nickname, actually. I love it.
He's doing reverse psychology, freaks. He fucking hates it. Keep it coming.
It's a great nickname. All right. I'm going to go take some medicine before a call in 36 minutes.
I will join you on that call. And I love you, freaks. Stay humble, stack sets.
Peace and love.